Hey y'all, it's Pizza, and I'm just looking around stunned at this beautiful sunny day here in Mississippi. So, welcome to the Mississippi Review. All right, so let's talk about the map here and the update here recently. I just wanted to mention a few things first about the update that sort of don't have anything to do with this map itself, and that was just some fixes and some new features that work across all our maps. So let's start off with one of my favorite things, and that is the new furs for our animals. Yeah, let's get away from here. Actually, let's start here. I love the new lodges in Mississippi. They look great, and I just wanted to show you a quick one right here at the beginning. But I forgot the music just keeps playing, so I'm going to take a walk. And I might as well show off a little bit of this map in the sunshine while we have the opportunity. All right, so we got new furs, textures, skins for our animals. I think they look great. I've checked them all out, or as many as I possibly can. And I've had a trip out to my trophy lodges and looked at the textures on some of the animals there, and managed to hunt a few other maps just to see what we were getting out of this. And I really got to say, I thought it, like I said, it's probably one of my favorite parts of the new update. So our animals look really good, and excuse me, I'm a big fan of the loss of the word common. It just seemed, kind of arcadey, and I thought some of the old skins kind of looked like that too. So I just think there's some real, you get the feeling of some individualization on our animals, which I appreciate quite a bit. And you can go back and check out your other trophies, you know, whether it be a whitetail or red deer, or you want to see the manes on those lions finally looking kind of cool. Well, now's your opportunity. What is going on? Just die already. Oh, I'm completely. Oh, I got slugs in here. Hey, buddy. Okay. Slugs in ranged at 100 yards kept me from ruining that. Yep. And here's one of the new additions to Mississippi, the eastern turkeys. And I just was tired of listening to all that noise. All right. So anyway, yeah, one of my favorite things of the new furs. If you haven't checked out your trophy lodges or other maps, definitely get into that to see the new the new looks. And again, like I said, it just gives them less of an arcade feel and more of like you know each deer sort of has a look to it. So even if it is a common, even if it's every common is a brown in this particular species, it just gives it that feeling that it's just more singular for its look. So definitely enjoyed that, and like I said, overall probably my favorite thing out of the new update. The other thing that we have that's going to affect all our maps here, let me pop up onto this one, is and I want to point out that this is in my mind a partial fix at this point. Uh, the unstacking of zones, and what that's going to do is allow us the ability to see more than one, and we'll just leave it at that for right now. And I'll also say, usually, how about that? The ability to see more than, and I'll find one here in a minute. One zone in the same area. So if you've hunted in Call of the Wild, then you know that you can have multiple zones in an area. And what that does is when you pick up your first zone, you know, let's say I find a quail zone. Here we go. Here's two. Um, as you saw, you know, the ones I was looking at before, here's a gray fox. So I found a gray fox, and that's it. Now, if I happen to find a common raccoon uh, rest zone in the same area, then that used to cover up the gray fox and would say common raccoon. And the only thing that you could see would be common raccoon. So you wouldn't know to hunt gray fox here unless you somehow managed to remember out of all the zones on this map, out of all the maps. So probably not, right? Well, now you're able to see multiple. And right here you can see we have the common raccoon from 10:30 to 13 and the wild hog from 14 to 17:30. So that's great, right? And I think this is great. And I was really looking forward to this. And honestly, it's been one of my, you know, few complaints that's consistent throughout my playthroughs on any of this. So any of the maps or anything. He said I just feel like it was asking a lot to ask the players to try to remember, you know, there's a red deer zone underneath this roe deer zone. There's a, you know, I can hunt caribou somewhere where all these musk deer or zones are. So what I felt like it really did was it ended up in the end kind of restricting your ability to access the whole map and play the map like it should be, because frankly you couldn't hunt everything where you might think it would be. Or what I would end up doing sometimes, kind of wandering around in zones that were similar in time. So at least I knew that, okay, well, like I said, the roe deer and the red deer are on at the same time in Quattro. If I go and see a roe deer zone, well, maybe I'll check that out, and hopefully there'll be a red deer zone underneath it. So now we can see more. How many can we see now? Well, this is where I think that if they had fixed this correctly, then this would actually be more important to me than the furs. So I'm still holding out hope we get what I would consider a true fix of this. So here we have two, but that's as much as you can get. And again, if you've played this game for a while, you know that you can have multiple zones. I recently just found one here, and you know, let's say we've got common raccoon and a wild hog. Well, those two are already down, and it really does do it in the order. So I found the raccoon first, then I found the hogs. Now let's say I found a rabbit zone. You're not going to see the rabbit zone. It only has space for two. So if you, like I said, if you played this game for a while, you know, or maybe even if you're new, you've noticed, you know, the zone stackings. Well, they can stack more than two, and so if you have 3, 4 zones in the same area, which can happen, uh, you're only going to see basically the first two that you revealed in order. So if you, like I said, if I found the hogs first, and they'd be up top, and then the raccoons, and the raccoons would be next. Anything after that isn't going to show up. So the box is really only room for 2 zones, as far as I can tell so far. The other issue is going to be the length of name, apparently, uh, of the animal. And as you can see, we have to have, for some reason, the entire eastern cottontail rabbit. You know, I get the fact that there's different cottontail rabbits, but let's maybe shorten the word, because as you notice, what it does is it kicks down to the second level there, space, for the end zone time. So we have eastern cottontail rabbit from 10:30 to 13:30. Well, because eastern cottontail rabbit is such a long bit of wordage, it kicks 1330 down to the bottom space. Now what that means is if there are raccoon zones or let's say, hog zones on this feed zone, you can't see it. Why? Because both of these spaces are contained with the one rabbit. So I was thinking maybe, what is it, a southwestern Spanish ibex or something like that? There's no way. So if you have that zone first, you're not going to have, it's only going to show the one zone, even if you have two zones. And now we also know if you have three zones, it wouldn't have showed them anyway. But my point is, in particular, rabbits are still screwing up this map. So anywhere that I found those rabbit zones, right, and they're sitting there by themselves right now. Lord, why can't I? Oh, here's another stack one. Now, if you notice, I found the hog zone first. So that one's there, 630 to 10. And then if you look at the bottom, and this will show you why I know there's not a third box, or a third space in the box. Eastern Cottontail rabbit from 7 to, it doesn't even show up. Because there's nowhere for it to go, because there's not a third space for a third zone. So, I mean, I feel that there were stack zones at least 3 high on Leighton, so it seems like it would have been an issue like from the get-go. So I don't really understand why they wouldn't make the room for 3, even 4 zones to be in that box. And again, if you're new and you're checking this out, then like I said, if you find a zone that is the rabbit and you find the rabbits first, oh my god, I know I have tons of rabbit zones just covering up stuff here. Come on. There we go. Well, of course it's down at the bottom. Anyway, it's going to show up and nothing else is going to show up in that box. So anytime you see that, okay, you might have other zones there. You're going to still have to kind of use the old system of trying to remember either associating an animal. If I see a rabbit zone, well, there's a good chance that there's maybe, and look around. Maybe there's quail out here. Maybe there's raccoons out here. So there's a chance that there could be here that you're going to have to go check. A bit disappointing. I don't know how that works as far as like, I figure the difficult part will be adding more text spacing in the need zone box. But, however, the fact that I can now at least on maps get 2 zones where they are stacked, and as long as there aren't any animals that have a particularly long name, then I should be able to at least see 2 zones in one place, which I'm very excited about, and I am happy about, and I think it's a nice addition. I don't think it's a new thing, actually. I think I read that it was a glitch. It was supposed to be going on all along. But and another thing I kind of want to talk about, even though it is a little specific to this map, I feel like it's something that, once you do get or could get, it's something that is going to be used across uh, the entire game, and that's the new Coleman 22 Hornet Wasp. So it's the new 22 rifle, and this is a long-awaited weapon, in particular for people who felt that the old 22 should have been a little stronger. And the reason, though, I think the biggest assignment that surrounded it was the fact that it was going to be recommended for classes 1 and 2. The fact that it weighs 4 pounds is also a plus. There we go. I guess you can't see the weight here. I'll go to... Well, it weighs 4 pounds. And if you carry the 243 and the old 22 long rifle, then you know that weighs about 6 pounds. So, ability to shoot both those animals with one rifle is something that I think people were really excited about, and are going to consider as a weapon that they make a, one of those weapons that pretty much shows up in most of your loadouts, particularly on a map with the 2. So I've shot it, and I think that at first I didn't really give it the 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 real focus and try that it deserved. How about that? I can't believe it's still sunny out here today. I should be hunting. This is ridiculous. But uh, I did notice that it does, its range drops off pretty high after 150. Um, but that's something that you can learn to compensate with. Uh, for instance, I learned how to shoot the 22 long rifle. I could shoot a duck out of the sky at 325 yards, ranged at 164. Can you range that one at 164? I think so. Or even at 109, you could probably do it. But uh, and for you people that don't have the our numbers, we're talking about 100 and 150 meters. So that's something you can compensate for, I think. Uh, I feel that myself and like a lot of others in the community feel that it could use a little more power. Uh, it feels a little, for a gun that sounds like the 243, it feels a little underwhelming, and not just against the twos, but also against the ones. So I figure I'm getting a gun that has a bit more power and kick because I'm able to take down a coyote or a lynx or level two animals, fox. Uh, you would think would really just put a one down, but that's not necessarily the case. So I have had turkey wander off and take off and start to fly. I've had you know uh, raccoons, which are level one species, um, not only take a while to die, but also not get a vital and also live. In fact, I had a particularly tough raccoon take two shots from the new 22, and it never died. So in that aspect, and what I did was I ended up shooting some raccoons with the old 22 long rifle, which is supposedly, admittedly, a lighter, caliber impact weapon, and it killed every raccoon it shot without any vitals. It was just good old flesh hits. So, but I've also argued that in theory that the gun does what you know the developers offered, and so maybe they won't change it. I think it's a wish list kind of thing. Uh, I would like it to have a little more power. Is what I would say. As far as accuracy, yeah, I'd say within 150 yards, or I assume 150 meters. Uh, it's pretty accurate. It does a good job, and again, it's nice in that being able to carry a lighter load when you go onto your maps. To have a gun that shoots one and twos to avoid carrying the Virant and the 243. So, in that aspect, I think, and like I said, I shot it for a while, and then I went back to the 22 long rifle and the 243 on this map because it was doing just fine. And then I realized, what I wanted to do was really carry a shotgun on this map as well for the quail. And if I made that change, there's a good. I got to say, if I made that change, then I could carry the shotgun. So I decided to go ahead and just go with that. And I've been just deciding to kind of dedicate myself to kind of weaning off the 22 long rifle. I don't think I would get rid of it completely, especially on certain maps. Like I would definitely take it goose hunting and duck hunting. But I think on the maps with the quail and the pheasant, I might carry it around with me because it would allow me to carry the shotgun with me as well. But I could still take those long range turkey shots and be able to combine the weapon and not have to bring the 243 so I can shoot coyotes or lynx or fox or whatever on those maps that have ones and twos. So As far as people talking about what they like, I've also heard people say they wish it shot threes. All right. Again, I wouldn't be opposed to that. That'd be great. It would depend, though. I would think again. See, here's my thing. I'm thinking with the new 22, if you're going to be able to hit ones and twos, then it should be a little overpowered on the ones and a little weak on the twos, and that's kind of what it's seeming like. So, like I said, wanting that buff might just be wishful thinking. Do they move, or was it a second zone? Oh wow, they're spread out. I could. Sorry, guys. I'm just remembering something I forgot to do the other day, so I'm going to run in here and have a look while I talk about it. All right, so oh, and we'll pass another lodge, so that'll be cool. Uh, so as far as the rifle is concerned, the look of it is fine. I think it looks pretty good. Actually, I can go up to the locker area while I'm here. You know, let's start with what I would consider, because the drop, like I said, the drop off is something you just got to learn. The power thing is something you got to learn to compensate for. And again, you know, so you got to track a fox, maybe you got to track a lynx. But, you know, overall, I don't really consider that, oh, that's to be a big deal. Hello? Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Well, see, I've been calling it the Hornet Wasp. Hornet Wasp or Yellow Jacket. I almost got the Yellow Jacket, guys. I really kind of, I like the guns with the different or off colors. But I also kind of have a reddish theme going on with my weapons, so I went with this one. As you can see, though, any game, anywhere that has me pay for a DLC, real world money, and then hits me up for in-game cash, I'm a little, I don't like that already. What hits, if it hits me up for a lot of in-game cash, that just, I think, is unfair, especially for new players, especially if somebody bought this game, you live in Mississippi and you love hunting and you've been thinking about buying Call of the Wild and getting a bunch of DLC and spending a ton of money on it, and then this comes out and you're like, I gotta get it. You're not you're not gonna have the money for this. You're not gonna have the money for this for a while, and you're not even gonna have the money for this for a while because it wouldn't even make sense, especially if you got the gun pack that has the 22 variant, the long rifle. So, you know, that I think it was. I just don't agree with. I don't. I think it should be free, or at least give me a variation I can get for free from the missions. You know, I prefer they all be free. It's supposed to be the present inside the game that I paid for the DLC. But so there's a sticking point. But the lightweight and the ability to shoot ones and twos, yeah, I'm going to carry this thing. Do I think I'll ever get the green one? I'm just not that guy that spends $75,000 to have a second variation. So probably not. And that's why I went in and stuck with that. The other sticking point I have with this gun is going to be the amount for the ammo. Again, we're paying $1,000 for 10 rounds on both the polymer and the soft point. And if you look just below it at what you're used to shooting with your old 22 rifle, and you'll see I have 137 rounds just hanging out, would be the $200 for 10 rounds. And where, let's say I shoot a rabbit, I'm getting a couple $100 for that with the one bullet. And it's not really making, it's not making me a profit necessarily on what I spent. Now, if I shoot 2 rabbits, okay, or 3. But down here, I mean, with the price tag of 200 for 10, one bullet is making you money every single time. So I get in the breakdown of 10. I'm being, maybe a little critical, but I also feel, finally, I was like, Where's the rain? That might be the longest stint of game time without rain that I've had on Mississippi. I mean, it might have just been that. I bet it comes back. All right. So again, what do I think? I think that if you've got the money, then you want to spend it, then you should get it. I think that it's a good way to reduce your weight on different maps. And I don't necessarily think that they're going to do a buff. But if they did, I wouldn't be mad about it. How about that? I definitely wouldn't mind having a little more power in that. And just, like I said, when you shoot that raccoon twice and it just runs away, I don't know. And again, considering that it's supposed to be able to take down bigger animals, watching my turkeys kind of have a little fly off 50 yards away seems, you know, maybe that diamond monster turkey. Maybe that's who's calling now. No. All right. So those points, I believe, sort of go across all the maps in a way, even though you get the 22 here in Mississippi. All right, let's talk lodges. As far as the lodges are concerned, I mentioned in the videos that I've been making hunting here, I think they did an excellent job on these. In particular, adding sort of a story to each one. They have different looks, uh, based on kind of like where they are on the map. This one's right on the water, so we're on stilts. It looks like a lot of typical stilted houses in the south. Uh, the lodges, these brown wooden ones, they tend to be and look a little nicer than the trailers. Um, and you get different trophies inside, but the base, there could be a wine bottle here, and we have some shot glasses, but maybe there's a book or some soda cans in a different one, just to give it. Yeah, here we go. To give it each one a sort of its own feel, which I think I appreciate a lot. I appreciate a lot. And, different lodges also are outposts. I should call them outposts because this is what you would typically consider like a lodge to look like. But this, you know what I'm talking about. The fast travel points are, they're each unique and individual. Some of them are put like on a big, let's say, lumber yard, or perhaps there's a, a row of trailer houses, or just different things to give it different feels. And I think that was an excellent job. Speaking of an excellent job, as far as the map itself looks, I really like it. I like all, the fact that I can catch raccoons hanging out in the recycle bins. I like the flooded areas. I like the fact that there's a flooded road on this map that has an alligator in it. I think it has two, where you can tell the flooding comes from a pond in the back, crosses out, and then floods this low area where there's a road, and yeah, you can actually find alligators in it. So it has, I'm assuming, drink zones on it too as well. I just haven't gone there at any drink zone times. So, like I said, visually, I mean, I lived in Mississippi for a little while. I lived in the South my whole life, and I'd say, in a lot of aspects, they really did a good job. And I wanted to point out that sunshine that we had there for a minute. That was also, like I said, you can see occasionally a sunny day here in Mississippi. I particularly like the sort of transition of these really thick woods to these grassy kind of thick fields to the kind of far away from them. But these are, if you played Hirschfelden or some places like Quattro, then you kind of recognize this as being fields, and that's what they are. They're farm fields. We have cotton, corn, and I don't know, beans, tobacco, or something, maybe collard greens, big leafy vegetables. Uh, so yeah, you have your swamps, you have your river, you have your, I call them lakes. There's a couple of them, I guess, that are big enough to be lakes, but they end up being sort of like ponds or swampy ponds. Uh, I can run right up here as I talk. And like I said, visually, it's just fun seeing the raccoons out in the field, the deer. You can catch deer out in these sort of grassy areas eating a lot. That's why I bought that stand right there. Um, and so, I think, again, I think that it's a good map. I think they did a good job, and I really have enjoyed a lot of the visuals running around and checking this place out. All right. With that said, you with every good thing, you got to explain away some of the detractors as well. And one thing you're going to find on this map in particular is that, and I want to point out that I'm running towards the water to check it out just because I want to show something other than the river that I was on. But, you know, the brush in this area around the water is actually not too bad. So I figure a lot of people are going to end up hunting the water in this on this particular map. But this is kind of typical of what you see. Like I said, it's more like a swampy area or a pond. You know, you definitely get that kind of, maybe it's even just temporarily here because of flooding. But you will find animals in it. And again, actually this is a good example because you're getting this little, there's the gator. I saw him run by in the background for just a second. Um, and again, this can be a drink zone. This is obviously a feed zone. Uh, but you get the idea that if it wasn't flooded, this typically wouldn't have water in it. And I think that's a really cool feel. And you can tell that you would assume that when the waters were high, it came through here off of this sort of larger area. But again, you see a lot of trees out in it too. And again, right into the fields. This might actually be that road I was talking about that has the alligators on it. Yeah, I know. I should have recognized it when I saw the females. But anyway, as you can see, that's what I'm talking about. We have sort of two water zones, or two water sources tied together. You can kind of see where they flooded into each other. And, you just get the idea that flooding has actually occurred on this map. So I like that a lot. Now, on the other hand, and what I started to talk about was how thick this map is. And when I mean thick, I mean almost impossible in a lot of places to see anything. For instance, that was it. There we go. All right. Double click. And that was the wrong rifle. And as you can see, I had no real visual on either one of those shots. I mean, normally I wouldn't take those shots. Hopefully without the incorrect rifle as well. Yeah. But my point is, it's really hard to see in here. It's really hard to get a shot in here. And you might be thinking, well, all right, I've crawled through fields in Quattro. I've crawled through fields on other maps. And it can't be that bad, right? Especially if it's really just the fields. Well, it's not. And all the fields are like this. And you'll get these little areas where I'm in the good part of the field is what I'm talking about. Most of it, as you'll see, is this thick corn rows. You can't see through the cotton. You can't see through the tobacco. You can't see through the grass. And the wooded areas, we have some sparsely kind of light wooded areas here because we're near the water. But I would like to point out are really, really thick. And I would say Hirschfelden definitely on its, at its worst. When I was hunting on Rancho, I kind of thought to myself, this map is actually kind of difficult, and I would consider it, But I still would consider that a beginner's map. I wouldn't say that about this map at all, in any shape or form. And I want to point out the woods that we're seeing right here. This is not typical of what I'm talking about. I'm talking about incredibly thick, incredibly dense woods that are just really difficult to see. And again, right here in these fields, these tobacco bean fields, collard green fields, you have these spaces where you have this openness, right? But you're also going to have a lot of animals that you're just not going to be able to see. You're not going to be able to see raccoons in this. You're not going to be able to see rabbits in this. You're not going to be able to see quail in this at all until you step on them. Basically, until you get beside them and could kick them. Now let's see. Yeah. So no matter what, I've got to worry. If I find any other feed zones on this one, it's not happening. With the piggies, I can get another one on. But yeah, the woods are incredibly thick, incredibly dense, very hard to get a good shot on. In fact, let's do a little fast travel. Um, Now, that means I'm considering this to be an advanced, difficult map, which is okay because, there's nothing wrong with that. I also say that they're trying to hit for some realism. It isn't always going to be easy to get the shot. They don't always just have this beautiful area in Quattro for you to wander around and see, or that big open space on the savannah. And the savannah can be very difficult and hard to see too, with all the grass. But I'm telling you guys, this is, in my mind, as far as hunting in these woods, trying to spot animals, trying to see what you need to do, it can be extremely difficult. And I've shot more trees, I think, on this map already than any other map I've shot. So I'm gonna get used to a different setup on the other map I was shooting. And I'm pretty sure I shot a tree. There we go. And it's still up. Now, not saying I had the best shot on that thing, right? But if I can one hit kill it with the 22 long rifle at like 300 and plus yards and just watch it drop, I just wanted a little bit more out of that. I just feel it should have a bit more. It was definitely longer than I thought. I'm just imagining, like, again, I feel like I would have found it already if I was shooting it with the old 22. Well, I saw blood. And this is what I mean. It's strange. And again, it's not that I never had a turkey fly up or run off a bit. And this could have been just I could have just barely clipped it, and maybe that makes a difference, more of a difference. I don't know. But I hope you're kind of getting an illustration. I'll come back to my point in a minute, but I hope you're getting an illustration of what I think people are going to find frustrating about this. And again, look at the thickness in here. If, let's say, I heard a coyote call or a fox call in the rain, this is typical. This is what you're going to see. You're hoping for a glimpse. You're taking blind shots. And, I mean, I'm really curious to see the distance this thing went. I mean, we're talking really far for a level 1 animal. A bird. Even a big old turkey bird. I'm really shocked that we're having to go this far. But I'm also kind of glad. So, I mean, I feel like any minute he's going to tell me he's tracking prey, and we're going to have to like stalk down this turkey. And I would never ever have expected or thought this in any way, shape, or form with the old one. You see what I mean? I mean, if I hadn't seen the pressure, there we go. Let's do a little looking for this turkey in this mess, just to give you an idea. Yeah, I know, Rascal. I'm coming your way, so relax. Do you see it? And a lot of times, you're not going to get the spot. You're just not. I've shot a bunch of I've shot some turkey on this map, and I'm here to tell you. Oh, I've got it completely. No, I got it. Oh, there it is. It's walking right by the dog. Now that is what I would expect. Oh, there goes another. Well, at least they're both together, huh? And hopefully turkey's on. Now, we have an opportunity to show off the new turkeys, and I think they look amazing. And that, they just totally killed, 100%. No, I meant to hang out like in a field that didn't have anything, because I knew this would happen. So tracking distance is 0 yards. That doesn't make any sense. I know, not the best shot, but it went a really long ways, you guys. And it doesn't sound like I got the money for it. But hopefully that'll give you an idea of just what you're dealing with. Imagine being crouched, imagine trying to get through here. And then on the other hand, let's say I'm calling in this bear, and I'm trying to get this bear to come over to me, and I'm using the fawn caller. One, it's going to be really hard to see, right? So what's the other thing you use in close-up, hard, dense cover, right? You use your ears, obviously. I would listen for the bear walking in. 6. Nice. I'm absolutely 100% sure that you can hear that ridiculous amount of rain coming down. And as I pointed out, I was really glad that the sun was shining when we started this video, because it's rare. And when I say rare, I mean albino mule deer rare. I mean albino, it sometimes feels like albino diamond mule deer rare. It just constantly rains, and it never stops. And oh, I saw some movement. There he is. Oh, there she is. And it doesn't have a natural feel to it. I don't know what to tell you. It's too much rain. Even if it was going to be like, all right, we're going to have some rainy days, it's going to be a rainy map. You know, New Zealand is a rainy map. Leighton is a rainy map. On both those maps, I would consider the rain to be like an actual kind of almost adversary, but not that bad, you know? They can be particularly obnoxious in New Zealand. But if I'm being honest, I would happily go to New Zealand right now as a break, as a way to get away from the rain here in Mississippi. You know, I get it. We're flooded. We have the flood going on. We got water everywhere. It sort of keeps the idea that maybe this flood is still occurring, and that's why we still have all this water everywhere and in the roads. Uh, okay. And again, if you want to make it a rainy map, you have rainy maps that I feel are successful. And being both, you know, annoying and challenging, and adding a layer to the hunting, an extra level to the hunting, making it a bit more difficult. So, on their own, just on their own, I would say either one of those factors on this map in particular would make this a particularly difficult map to hunt. Um, but added, oh yeah, we get that too. That's fun. But added together, man, you guys, it makes it not only incredibly difficult at times, but I will even verge on almost impossible in some areas to hunt. I can't tell you, and also to hunt perhaps in a manner that you're trying to, you know, maybe just role play a bit. You know, you want to get in, you want to creep in, you want to, you know, you're doing all this looking and creeping and crawling around in this mess anyway, right? You want that bow shot. You know, you want to get a bear with a pistol, whatever you're doing, right? You just going to all shotguns. Well, and again, this is the map to do it because you're going to end up having to get close a lot of times to these animals, or end up taking these bad shots into the woods, hoping that it kills it, which is what I'm doing right now. The other thing you might end up doing is doing all this creeping, and then the thing that I kind of think blows the immersion a little bit is that you just end up running at it. You just get, you're like, I can't see it. I've scanned, I've looked everywhere. You keep calling, I keep hearing you, I keep calling, and where normally you would hear the animal, you can't. You just can't. And I think that's, you know what, I'm going to say just straight up, I think if there's going to be one reason that people don't play this map as much or as often as both the developers would like or anticipated, I think that's going to be it. It's just, it's too much. It's a bit too much. Now, what I said, in fact, early on when I first started recording videos here, maybe reduce the rain by 25%. You know, keep it challenging. Yeah, we didn't get that bear. Keep it challenging. You know, keep it set up like it, you know, basically is. And again, I want you to imagine a raccoon behind that bush over there, just hollering. And you think, well, all right, let me push my scent off to the right and have a look. Hello, tree. As you can see, we're not making any, and there's tracks up there, so it's a possibility, right? And he's just center on that tree and behind there. Maybe in here you might see something, right? See a little movement, and you're gonna. I end up taking, just hoping for the best and trying to take a shot through the trees. Or you can put the effort in. You can stay down. You can get totally low. You can do everything you need to do to get in here and get your scent off, get quiet. And I was talking the other day, sometimes it feels like the trees and bushes in these videos, or this map, are like the eyes in paintings, so it just follows you around. But now maybe I've got worked my way around where I can get my shot. If it's moving though, or moving out, or runs and takes off, you're not going to know. You're not going to know because you're going to spend that time weaving in the rain and not hear it. And you're going to get, like I'm getting right now, a little panicky and thinking, man, I need to start hunting before the rain kicks back in. But as you can see, that's kind of a silly dream because it's already back. And I tell you, that's another thing that just is so disappointing. Every time I pick up that rabbit zone, all I can think of is, what am I missing? What am I missing because of that? So let's take a little bit of a longer shot on a turkey. See how that goes. Maybe. Man, I can't. I feel like the wobble's a little janky. I can't even accidentally get this thing. Yeah, it's gonna get away. There. Well, I wanted to take a little bit of a longer shot. He's up. All right. He's still not dead. I would be super curious to see if a turkey ever takes a shot from this and doesn't die. Because that would tell you then absolutely need a buff. I mean, I assume it's going to die, right? What? I can't ever recall hitting any bird with the 22 long rifle and it not dying. And fairly quickly. Wow. I mean, this thing had time to go home, fix a sandwich, say goodbye to the wife and kids, and dig a hole and bury itself. I mean, what in the world? So again, a little nice little bit of sunshine, and who knows? Maybe they did do a little bump. It seems I'm surprised to have sunshine twice in one day for any length of time. Uh, Half the time in my past videos, I say, "Oh, it finally stopped raining," and then it almost immediately begins to rain again. So that I think is another detractor for the map. I'd say 25%, but interestingly enough, from a lot of, I mean, even content creators, I think developers might want to even think about turning it down to maybe 50%. And I like the challenge. I sort of just in spending the hours here have gotten a little used to it, you know. But it definitely felt like a huge relief to go to a different map. And I'm not sure that's the feeling you want to go to. Like you want to go to a different map because you know, hey, I want to kill something else, or I want to hunt in a different way, or whatever. You know, I want to do stands and tripods instead of creeping through the grass, or I want to, I don't know, do bow hunting or whatever it is that you do. You do you? Um, Instead of, man, I just got to get off this map. I'm tired of looking at this map. It's got to stop raining. Oh my God, I got to get out of here. Good looking bird. 4.3 getting up there. And a zone. Which I guess I'll check the tracks. So I see some turkey tracks. We're gonna hope it's a turkey zone. That's another thing I've started to do is really check the tracks around the zone markers. So I forgot earlier. There we go. Oh, even better. We got a double bird zone. They should both show up, right? Fantastic. So weather-wise, you know, as far as ease of hunting, I would say it's very difficult. maybe the most difficult map for both weather and the terrain. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, bearing that in mind, if they do reduce the rain, I would think you'd probably get a little more player retention as far as people playing on this map. I think if they don't reduce the rain, they keep it like it is, uh, you're going to have people whitetail and crocodile hunting, maybe species hunting for particular videos, or just a random, I want to go shoot some gray fox. Uh, Maybe doing some grinding on uh, the quail because they pay well, and you can use cheaper shotgun bird shot on them than the expensive 22 ammo. So, or new 22 ammo. But I think that if they don't make it more like this, and who knows, maybe they did. I don't know. I'm like I said, is it just that luck you sometimes get when you're making a video where you say something like, "Man, you really think there'd be some whitetail in here? There should just definitely be some whitetail zones in here," and all of a sudden there's a whitetail zone. Or, "Man, I haven't shot a male bear on this map yet," and all of a sudden you see a male bear. I'm thinking it's like that kind of randomness of the gods. Okay. And less of, oh, it's sunny now in Mississippi. What's this guy talking about? Pizza Hulk is a liar. He says that it rains here all the time, but it's a beautiful sunny day. It was sunny in the morning, too. It only rained for just a little bit. It's because EW was watching my streams. They always do. And they heard. Wow. I would not normally try to annoy a quail in the woods. Just seems like you're setting yourself up for some heartbreak like that. And again, there are quail in these woods. Good luck on that. Again, I would say already this map is easily edging towards, and is definitely going to absolutely be the map where I shoot the most trees. For certain. Oh, I saw another one fly by. That's how it works in these woods. I'm pretty sure it landed near me. You guys, look at it. It's majestic. I know. So, and you know, plenty of better hunters than I could probably maybe do this. Don't get me wrong. And I recently just started hunting these things and the pheasant, so I'm gonna give myself proper technique marks. But I definitely have been trying to hunt these things in the fields and having moderate success, I would say, actually, and enjoying that part of it. I was going to say, is that a turkey? Oh, pizza. This isn't my typical loadout. I thought I saw a second one. Should I range it longer? Well, there we go. All right. And I don't think it died faster because I ranged it better. Switch. Oh, come on, switch. I just think that one died faster. For reasons. But I got a little bit of open area and I was able to take a shot. I'm able to hear the animals because it's not raining. And this is exactly the kind of day, if it manages to be a day of sunshine, that I think people on this would actually hunt this map a lot more. And for varied species, and not just come here for the whitetail and the gators and whatever niche kind of thing they're into. Let's talk quail. When we were talking species on the map, I want to talk about the quail first because I was really excited about this. From what I saw in the light bronze. Well, that's new. Why not? It seemed like they were jumping up a bit sooner. And from what I saw, they kind of were mostly in the fields. Um, I didn't have a lot of success pheasant hunting until recently. So, I wanted to give it a try. But I did find, as you're seeing now, that quail zones can also be in the woods. And it can be extremely difficult to shoot these guys. It can be hard to see them. First of all, they're very small and on the ground. And as you've seen, there's a lot of brush and tall grass on this map. And when they fly up in the trees in particular, I'm hoping we got a little bit of space out here. Uh, it's just you might have a second, you might not. You might see it just kind of disappear, and usually what I see it is just disappearing into the canopy. But I do notice that they tend to come up and jump up a bit sooner than the pheasant. I went back and hunted the pheasant and after the quail came out just to see if maybe they were jumping up a bit sooner as well. They are not. You could still pretty much run up and kick one. That is, I don't know, a strange mechanic to me. I get that pheasants are going to wait till the last minute to go up, but I mean, a lot of times they're literally just running around your feet. Uh, so I was excited about that, but as you can see, the quail hunting in the woods is just, you know, it's not great. You get them out in the fields, that's fine. The problem I'm finding is as far as as far as being able to hunt an area. So let's say three fields that are fairly close together that they're sort of flying around in and hopping back and forth to is not happening. In fact, it's generally one area and they're spread out all through the fields around sort of this central feed zone. So, not that you can't get used to hunting that, but blowing out a zone is a bigger deal than you might think. And if you're used to hunting ducks, quail, geese, all the other bears, you're used to, you're blowing out zones, but you don't feel too bad about it. One, it'll come back eventually, right? And two, uh, there's usually plenty nearby. Um, I'm not thinking that's the case for the quail. I just haven't found like that. I mean, maybe there's a place where there's maybe three, four zones sort of in an area, but it just seems like what you're going to find is this quail zone out here, and that's it. We're not going to find another quail zone here, and another quail zone here, and another quail zone here. This is going to be it. And same thing in the fields, and again, these could be already covered up by rabbit, as in I got the rabbit zone first. But I do know, especially if there's any place that has pressure left. Yeah, here we go. This is quail, I'm assuming. Definitely, it was down here. Here we go. Bobwhite quail. Oh, and that's another thing about the quail. They're both out at early morning from like 4 to 7 and from 13 to 16. So uh, you got to check your areas twice at two different times to get all the zones. But hunting them in these woods is, you know, you're definitely going to want a shotgun on. You're definitely just kind of going to end up blasting in the general direction that you heard or saw. So I'm trying to scare one up in here just to kind of show how pointless it is. There's a rest zone in here. And there's two rest zones. There's one from like midnight to 4, and this one from 10:30 to whenever that was. So yeah, they've got you purposely trying to jump these things up in the woods, which I think is just nuts. I mean, finding them to even scare them up is difficult in here because you know, at least sometimes in the fields you can spot one running around. I can't believe it's not raining. But again, I hope that you're seeing that you're not bored and saying, when are you going to get on with this review? You're saying, I kind of see the futility of this exercise. This seems a little ridiculous. And this is another thing I ended up doing, tracking these things forever. Can you imagine? You probably didn't imagine the Call of the Wild tracking quail across, you know, even a mile worth of fields just to try to find a zone or see a bird. I really didn't see much of anything when I first started playing. It wasn't until I actively went out in the fields at those times and finally found some zones that I started shooting some quail. And I mean, look at this, guys. I mean, I am hauling booty after this thing, and it is just doesn't care. So again, you have a hard time even getting them to fly in the trees. I mean, is that a pathing thing? Are you really trying to chase these guys until you get to an open area where they can finally fly up and get away from you? And this is what else is going to happen. I'm done. It's enough. It's so, I'm curious once again. Like I said, I've never had weather. There is impossible, and I hope you hear it in my voice just how ridiculous it has been. Feel free to go watch other people's videos and hear them talk about the rain. It is here it comes, right? It's got it. Okay, finally. I'm saying I'm starting to miss it. It's starting to feel strange on this map, like something's wrong or broken. All right. So as you can see, my problem with the quail is not so much the quail hunting itself, especially out in the fields. In fact, I found it kind of easy and enjoyable. I've been using the 16 gauge that we got with Rancho. I'm loving that gun. It's just, it hits amazing. I love it. So that part and aspect's been fun, but finding the zones is a ton of work and a ton of time. You're just going to spend probably hours real time running through fields, hoping to just bump into them, running out of time, going somewhere, resetting the time, or carrying a tent on you, I guess. Plopping that bad boy down 350 yards away from where you want to be. And running back in to finish out the zone times, because you really do have to work these fields. And in the morning, which is a weird time, I think, in the dark, hunting for the quail zones, you're going to want to keep your flashlight on so you can actually see the zones. That's how early it starts. So, as far as the rest of the species are concerned, I think what people are going to do on this map, and they're going to do it over and over and over again, they're going to come here and they're going to beat up these whitetail, because these whitetail are massive and they are everywhere and there are tons of them. You catch, you know, you catch them in the drink zones, you can catch them in their feed zones. That's probably, you know, it could be. I mean, think about it. These are pretty much, all these drink zones are whitetail, and all we can see are the cottontail rabbits. I doubt it. But what I was finding on the whitetail feed zones is often there were 6 to 10. There's one. 4:30 to 8. So, well, one of them. And I mean, they're just stacked in there, you guys. They're just stacked. And I spent about 5 hours on this map before I got a diamond, and that's it. And just hanging out in the field, just being a three, just being like, ah, yeah, what's up, buddy? So, there are monsters here. They're everywhere. I've been exploring this coast. I expect to find more. And I'm pretty sure I missed one in here. And these back lakes, every single one of those drink zones. And we have up here, all those drink zones are whitetail. Weren't any on this one. Haven't checked this. We have whitetail along the river, which isn't completely explored. Like, all that needs to be done. And a few is also being spotted as I've explored the map. So hunting them in the drink zones is fairly easy. The water here, whether it's the river or the ponds, lakes, whatever you want to call them, is not particularly difficult. Hunting them in their feed zones, again, they tend to actually be in this kind of area, in these grassy sort of fieldy areas for their feed zones. My point is, there's a lot of whitetail, a lot, and they're huge. You're just going to keep shooting everything. You're going to be like, that's a 223, that's a 243, that's a 221, that's a 219, it's gold medals galore, and I gotta imagine this is going to be the map for diamonds and possibly great ones. I wonder if that zone just kicked in. That's what I mean by coincidental luck there. It occasionally happens. But, and now nothing else. Okay. So, again, with the rain, it's going to make things pretty tough. As far as other species are concerned, I think a lot of people are going to go into what we'll call gator hunting mode, right? And really try to get those guys beat up. For obvious reasons, right? Don't you want to shoot an alligator? Uh, the alligator hunting I found to be pretty difficult for myself. You know, that doesn't mean you'll find it difficult, but I personally found it a little hard. Uh, I found that my most successful shot to kill alligators is the neck shot, because anything that takes too long and you don't get the animal. They've been pretty glitched, so I'll be curious to see if maybe that is a part of the problem. So, you know, what happens, it seems to be that they were either floating above the surface of the water, and when you take your shot, it either wouldn't place a shot or it just sort of immediately sank, you know. And I had a lot of gators that just disappeared after you shot them. And when I mean that, I mean like, poop, then it was gone. So I'll also be interested to see if that's changed. I would say I probably shot about 7 to 8, maybe even 9 alligators, and I got the hunting pressure. I even occasionally saw them, you know, floating there, and I never got the trophy. So I'm hoping, like I said, I saw the update. I checked the map yesterday, and most of the issues, or some of the issues, seem to have cleared up. As far as other problems with the gators, you know, it just seems like it's a weird mechanic that hasn't been fixed yet. That hasn't. It's not really working. I think the way they're intended to, and a lot of times you'll just see them kind of drop through the world, drop off the map. You'll pick them up for just a second. You get a lot of hissing and anger from the water and never see anything. So, for what I'm considering to be one of the animals that people are going to really be interested in and trying to beat up and get to, you know, I just don't, you know. I think it needs a little tweaking and a little work too. Raccoons are fun to hunt when you can see them. It's really strange that you have to. I think their collar is almost like a duck collar. I think it has the same range. It sounds like a duck, and you really got to put the work in to get these guys. Now sometimes they just kind of run by you and you can take some shots, and occasionally you'll spot them. But the fields and in the woods that they're in, it's really just not particularly easy to hunt. And I mean, I don't need things to be easy to hunt, but I would think it's also particularly difficult to hunt. And I think that's going to be another issue for folks. It just doesn't seem, you know, you, you're not going to catch it running by. You're going to hear it, and then you're going to have to spend time creeping and being quiet and doing a lot of calling. So I'm not sure you're going to get a lot of people coming back for that. As far as the rabbits, I've had fun shooting them here and there, but it just, you know, and I love rabbits. My trophy lodge is filled with rabbits. But, I mean, I just don't think that, you know, they're from an early time. I think they're from, like, I don't know. You got to hunt them at like 4 o'clock in the morning, or maybe even earlier. So as far as like just spotting them around and taking pot shots, I mean, not very much of that. Whereas it seems like on other maps, you kind of run into those rabbits all the time, and you get to just sort of get those shots. And even on the maps where there are warrens, I tend to set up, you know, runs where I at least go by them. The bear are, I kind of like the way the bear are set up on this map. In particular, they're like bear are supposed to be, where you're not going to find them too often in the populated areas, or with their calling populated areas on this map. And you're also going to have to do some looking for them. They're kind of, so far for me, they've been a little bit sparse. But that's how bears are. They tend to be in the south and the southeast. You know, when you're in the mountains, when you're on the rivers, where you're in the places where they live, sure, you can run into them and spot them. But I mentioned that I've lived around bears my whole life, and the only time I've ever actually seen bears on any kind of regular basis was when I lived in Colorado. I've never seen a bear out in the wild in the southeast. So that is not too problematic for me. But what I do find to be an issue on this map is being able to see them once again and spot them. A lot of times, you know, I took a shot of bear earlier in this video, and I just took a shot on it. And I did the same on another bear. Pretty sure I hit it, but, you know, I didn't kill it because I couldn't really see what I was doing. So again, I would put the level of difficulty at pretty high, even though bears are pretty big and they're kind of sit on their butts in their zones and they stand up for you, and you're still going to have to put in a good bit of work on this map in particular. But I think so far bears are one of my favorite things since the new furs came out, as far as the way they look. So as far as the turkey are concerned, I've got to say I really probably shouldn't put too much of a definition on that yet, because honestly, I just haven't done too much turkey hunting. I haven't really gone out. I haven't looked at their times. I haven't tried to find, in particular, where their, you know, areas are. I'm gonna, you know, hopefully assume correctly that they're sort of set up like some of the other maps, like in Silver Ridge and New Zealand, and they're sort of just, they're spread out along the map, but they also have some areas where they're concentrated. So they look great, but all turkeys look great since the update. So, you know, and again, I've shot them blindly more than any of the other animals on the map. So I'll let you decide on that. But turkeys, again, because they can hop up and fly, they're not going to be like the raccoons or the rabbits, where you can kind of bum rush them, or the quail. You know, you need to stay low. Oh, I got my scent all over it. So apparently I make no noise, even though my noise indicator is going nuts. But yeah, if my scent wasn't on them, you can see that we'd definitely be putting the work in here to creep and crawl and hopefully just see something, you know. But instead, I'm doing exactly what I think a lot of people are going to end up doing, and just flinging myself at it, hoping to see it jump up or run, and just throwing a bunch of lead at it, and seeing what happens. But I'm not even going to get that. Not even going to get that. But again, I think that's a good illustration of just, you know, the actual difficulty to anticipate on this map. Let me get out of this mess here. What are we left with? We got the fox. I've had a lot of fun hunting the fox, but again, you know, just like we'll just say it for every single species on the map. It's going to be tough to see. It's going to be tough to hunt. Um, but it kind of reminds me of Hirschfeld in a way, where you catch them just sort of running around and crossing the field, and I've killed a decent amount that way. Just, you know, hearing them bark and then spotting them randomly. I would say I've actually killed a decent amount of fox. So without specifically going after them, which is a species of animal. You know, any map, any map that has that kind of species on it, where you can just kind of you can get them like pigs. You know what I mean? A lot of times you'll see pigs just kind of running by on a map. There's 6 of them. You know, shoot 2 and move on. And then again, you know, my wind's not great. Being able to see these guys, the likelihood is low. You're just hoping. You're going to be switching back and forth between your binoculars or your scoped weapon. Just looking for a flash of tan or brown. And unusually for, again, today, I would be able to hear them. But normally on this map, it's just the EW gods paying me for wanting to show just how stupid rainy this map is all the time, and impossible to hear anything close up. And this is the sunniest day I've played yet in this map, without a doubt. So imagine this plus rain. Now you know why people are complaining about it. And again, you know, I have no idea. I'm pretty sure that deer said what it needed to say to me and left. So I'm not getting anything else. But again, it's just really hard to tell. Anyway, I don't have a diamond fox yet, but you know, I'm working on it. They are huge. They look fantastic, I think, in other species. They look adorable, actually. The fox and the raccoons, they just made almost too cute. But you can get over it. So they look great. Their colors look great. And the biggest one I got so far, I think, is a mythical or gray. Again, I'm having fun with all the colors. Just trying to. I think that's another layer I like about that, is just trying to guess what is common, what's uncommon, what's rare. I think that kind of makes it fun. So, but this is typically what you're going to see in the wooded areas, and I'm telling you, it's just a mess. And it gets a little better towards the water. It thins out a bit. So as far as like your whitetail hunting, that's what I was looking for. I thought maybe I missed a whitetail zone down here. Yeah. And what I would normally recommend is, you know, especially if you're looking for a zone, don't call. Push in on it and try to find it. And especially like right now, since my wind is miraculously exactly the opposite of where it was before, even though I'm pushing in on a different animal. Here, I just go ahead and start calling and hope you can find the zone behind it. And hope they come in. There we go. Hey, lady. Where's your boyfriend? Oh, I think he's right there. Oh, and again, looks pretty nice. They're going to get too close to me. See, I'm just dragging my wind right across them. Are you too smart, my friend? No, go the other way. This guy might be too smart for me. Oh, move. Oh my God, are you kidding me? How in the world? You gotta be joking. There's another female in front. I was gonna go for a shotgun shot, but that ain't happening. I'm not even sure I'm gonna get him. Wow. And that's how it goes. Anyway, I have been shooting that 16 gauge, and took down a couple whitetail in Rancho, and you know, whether it's quail or whitetail, I'm liking that gun a lot. But anyway, like I said, this is sort of typically what you see, what you're dealing with. Oh, dang. All right. These moments of just getting that only just a second, you know. I can't imagine. And again, this makes for an exciting hunt, right? I mean, the scaring them part is kind of lame, but you got to get in, you got to get close. But I want to point out, as I mentioned when I first came down here, along the water, you can actually see a lot better. I know. There's some weirdo, just weird deer here who smells funny. He says it's cool, but is it? It smells like human in here. Listen. Yeah. Here come the ladies again. There he is. No. No. Nope. No. Where are you, sir? Don't you want to talk to your friend here for just a minute? No. Look, all these ladies are up in here. They're fine. Just come on in. Just come say hello real quick. Just a quick hello. Just I mean, he's just too smart for me, right? He's too smart. I still don't see a zone either. I feel like if I call again, I'm just going to end up having to shoot one of these ladies. There. It's your fault. Is that the zone? I did miss a zone. Oh, did I switch to birdshot? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No. Good. What I ought to. Alright. Wow. She's tough. Um, so, there's a good example of just how much fun it is to hunt down here. And again, like I said, this is definitely the clear area on this map. Yeah. Am I missing anything as far as species is concerned? I don't think so. Nope. I'm going to say that covers it all. Um, as far as what you might do on other maps, typically, I think that working drink zones is going to work for certain animals, but it's going to be difficult for others. You're going to have to do a good bit of night hunting on this map, which I am terrified of, because y'all, it is not normally this clear. I just can't even believe it. It's stunning. And again, I don't know if there was a fix on that. I guess I'll have to look that up. Uh, I didn't think there had been the last time I checked, but that doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. So, I guess overall, I would, let's sum it up. Um, the hunting here is definitely what I would consider to be advanced. I would think that community-wise, people would definitely like the rain to get turned down. I'd like to see it 25% less, but I think if you're really going to get people on this map hunting it regularly, you might want to go down even as far as like 50% on the rain. I don't think you're going to get people coming here except to hunt these whitetail on a regular basis. They'll come here, they'll shoot the big ones, maybe set up for a grind, and then head on over to wherever else they're shooting whitetail. Maybe they'll pop some gators on occasion. It'll look good on video. But honestly, I feel like for such a pretty map, for one that it at least seems to thinking that you want to get people dedicated to a bit of a more maybe realistic or harder hunting situation instead of just sitting there calling in elk and just popping like 6 in a row, blowing out zones without care. you know I get that it's cool, I want it, but I think for just overall playability and for people that are going to want to actually do more than just come here to do the whitetail grind, you're going to have to turn the rain down. You're just going to have to turn the rain down. And I mean, I thought about it too. I don't know if there's a way to like reduce the density on some of like the foliage and the the crops. You know, a few in some spots, maybe take out every other corn stalk, or I would think that might be a real difficult thing to do. But if it is something, I think that they might want to consider it. Otherwise, I just don't think this map's going to be. People aren't going to play it like Rancho. They're not going to play it like Layton, even though it has Whitetail. I don't think they're going to play it like, most of the other maps. I think it's going to end up, and even though it seems to have a really high density of animal saturation of all the species, I'm telling you, I don't think people are going to spend a lot of time on this map regularly compared to other maps. I think you're just going to see people doing Whitetail grinds and Rancho and Layton. That's just going to keep it up. And I'm not saying you won't see them here, but I wouldn't look to them as like a replacement. You know, I wouldn't look to them as like that's what's going to be. So. Yeah, I think, is that a little male? Nah. Yeah, I think that was the only male. And no, there's no way. That other one was way bigger. 134. All right, well, off to the spawn gods it goes. All right, isn't that what you're supposed to tell yourself? And give you an idea of kind of like the type of hunting you're kind of going to end up doing. And like I said, this is, I would say, much. One of the water is easier to hunt than the deep woods. It just is. But as far as maps go, I think overall, if I did a score, I would give it like a 6.5 right now. A 7 because the whitetail are so big, and there's just so many of them. So we'll go with a 7. But I think I would play this map a lot, no matter what. I definitely see myself hunting here a lot, no matter what. But I definitely see myself getting burned out real quick and coming here, doing hunts, and then having to go somewhere else because it rains too much. It's too depressing. You really got a lot of depending on how you play or how you think, a lot of stress as far as like trying to just see anything, hit anything, hear anything. So I think overall that's going to be a big problem. Let's get out of here before we wreck some zones. And again, I think as far as like putting I'm confused about missions right now. Does this map not have side missions? Do I need to pick up something else and look at it and turn it over? Because that's what I don't know. I want to talk about the missions real quick. If you don't know, and one of the early missions is something the Wicked This Way comes, you're going to find a map. And then you're going to wonder why this mission sucks and is broken and you can't ever advance it. Well, that's because you have to go to your codex, pull up the map, inspect it, and then, whoa, turn it over. And you're going to need to do that multiple times for multiple missions, for multiple things. I guess that's the fun new mechanic. Hello, dear. Hello, dear. But I did not enjoy that. And spent some time thinking my missions were broken when they weren't, only to find out that, yeah, my missions were broken. Although they seem to be working now, after the latest update. So I was able to complete those. Anyway, there weren't many. And she said, well, I'll get back to you some other time, and I've never heard from her again. And I don't know if it's something weird, like I got to find something and flip it over. Do I need to kill a pig? And all of a sudden it'll be like, hey, we have some varmint pigs we need to get out of here. Or there really no side missions. Only, maybe it was like 10 to 12 main missions. Which I found to be also very disappointing since I wanted to make a lot of cash. And again, if you're here for the experience, you're not getting it. So I think they went a little overboard on trying to, I don't know, reduce the story maybe? I don't know. Anyway. As far as the voice acting was concerned, I thought that the warden here was a great actor. At times she only had what she could work with as far as the, there it is, as far as the script was concerned. The older lady actress, or the actress playing the older lady, I didn't think was that great at all. And spoilers, and I'm not going to reveal it, but maybe I will. You're never going to guess who the bad guys are. Ever. It'll be a complete and total shock. You'll never have thought of it. Anyway, yeah, the lodges are cool. The fur types are cool. I like being able to see more than one zone on zones, but that's broken because, again, you can still only see two. And if you have an eastern cottontail rabbit or something else with a particularly long name, it's going to cover up your zones. So, bit of a bummer on that one. And overall, like I said, we'll go with a 7 for now. Maybe with a patch or something. Hey, we got a gator. Now let's see if it disappears. Nope. Well, that's an improvement in itself, although this horrible shaking death thing is kind of sad. I also haven't killed a deer and had it fall in the water and seen if its antlers fall off and roll around. But I would like to point out that that alligator was close, and that is where I've had the most success with alligators. It's shooting them up close. The long range ones, at least before, typically, even if it was an insta-kill, and I saw them bob up and float, I never got. They just wouldn't float to me, or they disappeared completely, and I never saw them again. So I am excited that I did get a one-shot on this guy, and he died quick, because I was worried that it was more about them floating up to the surface was the broken mechanic. I was going to say, I think that's olive. And like I said, what's working for me is right there, that next shot. Well, like I said, so we go with a 7, and I want to say this. What I think is going to happen, although, like I said, weirdly enough, today has been the least rainy day. Here we go. That's better. That's better. Come on. Give me my rain. You know, I think that people are going to, the way it is, as is, people are going to come here. They're going to whitetail grind for sure. But I think that might be it. I think you might have some folks who like to do some quail hunting because it looks cool and they'll make videos out of it, and also it pays well. You know, I think people are going to get their diamonds here, and they're going to do whitetail grinds here, and then that's going to be it. Because, and I don't think it's necessarily because of the species on the map. I don't think it's because they don't have ducks. I don't think it's because, you know, the 22 isn't powerful enough. It's the rain. It's going to depress people. And I think somebody there should have thought about that. Because you'll never guess what, people. You'll never guess what. Real rain depresses people. And sometimes when it's actually raining outside, people like to play video games. And we don't actually want to have a rainy day. So, not at least for the entire hunt. So, I will say that that's my review for up till now. I hope that you get a chance to check this out, but I wouldn't go out and buy it immediately if you haven't bought it yet. I feel like there's still some fixes coming. Oh, blue screen. The crashing. Is it fixed? I don't know. I crashed yesterday after the update. So, But it was after several hours of gameplay, and I'm guessing this is going on to at least maybe 2 hours. Uh, so yeah, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But there was a ton of crashing, and I'm hoping that's not a problem anymore. We'll see. But again, if you were looking, if you haven't bought it as a DLC, I would wait. Perhaps there'll be some fixes. If you really want to challenge yourself as a hunter for this game, I think this is a map to do it on. Not so much on difficult of species, but more just like difficult of terrain and the weather. And you know, if they dial it down a little bit, like I said, the rain, I think you'll actually have a lot of people hunt here. I do. But I think if they leave it as is, it's going to be one of the least haunted maps. I really think it'll be the grind that keeps the numbers up here. So, all right. Well, I didn't do commentary today because I just wanted to put out an actual video review, which I've never done before. It's probably okay. It probably would have been more entertaining. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's a bunny! Alright, hold on. If people had been available for comment. Yeah, they're trying to say it's really far away. Whoa! That was weird. I hit the ground and, well, it looked like I hit the ground and then he dropped dead. However, I'm really excited and glad I was wrapping it up because who doesn't want to end with a bunny kill? A random unspottable bunny, which is not particularly for this map. Anyway, yeah, so I did see someone was trying to talk to me. I appreciate that. If you stuck it out, thank you so much. I just, like I said, I thought, all right, what's a review video? I've watched them before. We'll just have, Pizza will just run his mouth about what he thinks about this map and the update. So that's what I did, but thanks for tuning in and checking it out. And yeah, if you happen to catch this video or any of my videos, thanks for watching. And if you want to like or do any of that stuff, that's certainly up to you. How did I lose this bunny? Not even trying. Oh my god. And Rascal earns his payday. Thanks, buddy. Oh, so dark. A gold. I don't know if I have a gold Eastern Cottontail rabbit yet. All right. And she's gray. So, cool. Well, thanks again for watching. I appreciate you guys, and I like to make these videos, and I like it when people watch. And like I said, sometimes do the commentary thing. I hope you guys have a good day, and take care, and be good to each other.